Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 21 of It's Cool with Jasmine Cool. Uh, it's been a week. It's been a week. Yeah, it was all right. We had reading period this past weekend, so basically it was just like a break before midterms. Um, yeah, it was pretty nice. Thursday, I can't remember if it was Thursday or Friday when this happened. I think it was Thursday. My friends and I, well, my roommate and I have started actually running semi regularly. Like running is a stretch. It's interval running, so it's mostly walking. But Thursday we like did some interval running with one of our other friends, and then we walked to Walgreens where I got a squishmallow named Pavlo. He's an all-powerful llama who, particularly, his special power is that he never gets full. So he can just keep eating. Yeah, he's got sunglasses. It's pretty great. Yeah. And then they had a sale on chocolate and shit because it's Valentine's Day today. So I got 2 bags of raspberry Ghirardelli squares because those are the best thing ever. Yeah. So we walked to Walgreens and then we went to this used bookstore. It's new and used, but it's mostly used books. It's literally called The Bookstore. It was great. It was this adorable little shop, and they've got everything organized by genre. Something is beeping. Okay, anyways. I got a copy of The Scarlet Letter, which I've never actually read, but The Scarlet Pimpernel is one of my favorite books ever. I got a book called Lieutenant Hornblower. Very interesting. I got a copy of a Thomas Hardy book that I don't really know, but Thomas Hardy is an author, so and then I got Great Stories of the Sea and Ships, which is just a collection of short stories by classic authors put into one book. And then my friend had us all buy trashy romance novels, like Harlequin novels, like the ones closest to our birthdays, and then we do dramatic readings of them. Mine has the most written by a woman male because he's rich, he's a billionaire, but he's also a philanthropist. So, yeah. And he's just closed off. He's not a total asshole like the other billionaire. Well, they're all rich, I think. Obviously. But um yeah. That was interesting. So we did that either Thursday or Friday. I literally can't remember. All the days blend together, you know. Um then Sunday, well, I finished my sister's birthday present, but I don't know if she listens or watches this, and honestly, it would be just my luck that the time I decide to show it, she decides to just watch randomly. So you guys still don't get to know what that is yet. Um um but then Sunday Sunday was like, well, Saturday we did D&D. That must have been the day my roommate and I went to the store because we like got back. Yeah, anyways, so I can stop saying my roommate now. I can start saying Emily because you guys know Emily now. Saturday, Emily and I worked out. It must have been. No, we didn't work out that day. We just went to the store. Yeah. We, uh, I'm losing my mind. Okay. Was that working? Okay. That was weird. Anyways, we went to Joann's. I got some really pretty yarn because I'm going to make myself a strawberry triceratops. It's gonna be really cute. Of course, that's going to be after I make these ski masks for my brother and his friend because they're going to a concert. And there's some, like, British or they must be Irish or something rappers. That's not the concert they're going to. But somehow it's related. I don't know. There's like, he sent me a YouTube video of this like rap song where one of them is wearing a ski mask in like the colors of the Irish flag. So it's like orange, white, green. So he asked if I could make it. So I'm making it. And that has to be before my Triceratops because their concert is on March 4th. So, yeah. Although the one in the video had like 2 eye holes and a mouth hole, and the pattern I'm using right now just has 1 hole that you can like pull down or like pull up, and I'm doing that because it seems way less complicated than trying to make like 3. How come I always yawn when I start doing this? I don't know. But yeah, I'm doing that, and then I get to make my Triceratops. Oh, I forgot one of like the important parts about the going to the store. So my theory professor had like told us he was gonna give us back our graded assignments before the midterm. So we had to like pick it up from like the building where his office is. Goodness. Okay. So I picked up my assignments on the way to Emily's parking garage. And I like failed one. Which is weird. Like that's really abnormal for me. I literally failed it. Like okay, the thing was, the reason I failed it, I missed like 2/3 of the directions. I have no idea how that happened. I must have been paying zero fucking attention. None whatsoever. It was a transposition assignment. There were 2 parts of it. I did the second part like fine. Like I transposed one thing wrong, but compared to the other half, that was fine. Anyways, So, fuck. Okay. So the first half, we were supposed to take like a 2-measure thing written for 4 different instruments and transpose it to all be in the same key in SATB chorale style. We were also supposed to do a Roman numeral and functional analysis and label non-chord tones. I skipped all of that. I didn't do it. Which lent itself to many other problems because the parts were like bassoon, French horn, and 2 other things that don't really matter. But in my brain, the bassoon is like a low instrument. It's low. It's gonna be lower than anything else. So I, for some reason, decided that it must be down an octave, like for some unknown reason to me. It is not. It's a non-transposing instrument. It can just go pretty high up. So it was actually the tenor part, but I dropped it an octave and made it the bass part like a dum-dum. And then I made the French horn part the tenor part because that's what made sense to me, even though that was actually the bass part. And because I didn't do the Roman numeral analysis, I didn't notice that that doesn't make any sense. Because when you put the tenor part as the bass part, your chords and like functions are not going to make any sense, like literally whatsoever. But because I didn't do that, because I'm an idiot, I didn't notice. I literally, that part of the assignment, I had a 5.5 out of 14. Yeah. The entire assignment, I had a 14.5 out of 24. So I picked that up on the way to Emily's parking garage. And I'm like on verge of a mental breakdown like the entire time we're shopping. The entire time. Because I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, oh my god, how could I do that? Like, this is like so, like, what the fuck am I gonna, like, what the hell? What was I doing that was just so stupid? Like, why would I, the entire time. Yeah. And then we also went to Goodwill. Like, it's honestly a good thing we went shopping right away, or I would have just had a mental breakdown. But instead, I got to, like, put it off, We also went to Goodwill, and we found some cool shit while we were there. Like, Emily got a really cute dress and a couple cute pairs of jeans and a really cool looking, like, sweater. Like, grandma-ish sweater, but it's, like, cool. And then I found this H&M dress that, like, doesn't look like it's from H&M. It's really pretty. It's, like, a floral pattern. Like, but not, like, it looks like someone's, like, your grandma's couch, like that kind of pattern, but, like, in a cute way. Like, when I saw the tag was H&M, I was like, what? I got this shirt. It says nature is magic. A little workout shirt that, like, was unworn. And then my star find was a Ralph Lauren blazer for $20. Like, this thing is nice as hell. like, I didn't even check this until I got back to the dorm, but it's 93% wool and 7% cashmere for $20. Fits me fantastic. I've always wanted a fucking blazer, but I can't do like the oversized blazer look. I don't like how that looks on me, and like the oversized button down thing, I don't like how that looks on me because I have too much boob and like too much hip, so then I just look like, I don't know, like a weird box. So yeah, but this one was like super nice. I was like, I'm taking that, thank you. The Goodwill didn't give us bags, which I get, but also a little warning would have been nice. Like, because I didn't know they weren't going to give us bags until Emily was checking out and they didn't give her a bag. I was like, oh, okay. Like, you know, I appreciate like the cutting down on plastic, but also like that would have been nice to know beforehand. Yeah, maybe if we went to Goodwill more, we would have known that, but I don't know if it's every Goodwill or like specific ones, or I don't know. But it was kind of weird. Plus, like, we have to carry everything back from a parking garage. So, not having a bag. Thankfully, we had our giant Joann's bags because those things are massive. So, we just put everything in there. But, like, I had a really nice blazer. Like, what if I didn't have a bag to put that in? And even so, I had to, like, kind of squish it into my other bag. Like, come on. Plus, they didn't have, like, reusable bags, like, next to the register that you could buy. They were, like, in the entryway, like, when you walk in, which isn't really helpful. Like, it kind of is, but it's also not. Like, that's only helpful if you know ahead of time that they don't give out bags. So, yeah. I had therapy yesterday. I went through my entire catalog of friendships I've had since middle school and through high school. Yeah. She got me a couple of times on my logic. You know, when therapists do that, they just like point out where your logic doesn't track, and then you're like, shit. Cause at one point, I was talking about one of my best friends that I had that was also my sister's best friend, and I kept talking about how, like, I stole her best friend and blah 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 blah, and she goes, can you steal a person? Do you think you stole her? Like, and then she was like, you're not responsible for the choices that other people make. Like, you can't steal a person. And I was like, oh. Yeah. And then we were talking about something that happened Sunday with my current friend group, that it bothered me because I had just been triggered like the weekend before by like, because I went home like the weekend before, and was like, it brought up a lot of the friend stuff about like being separated and missing out and like being replaceable in the friend group, and like they wouldn't actually care if I wasn't there. Like, they're friends with me out of necessity and convenience because Emily is my roommate, or like because I'm Emily's roommate. It brought up all that stuff, and then something happened Sunday that we were talking about, and like it kind of bothered me, and then the counselor was like, "Did you guys talk about it?" And I said no, and she's like, "Why not?" She's like, and I said, "Well, I couldn't really tell if Emily was that annoyed by it, and like if I was the only one upset by it, then like why should I be upset?" And she goes, "If you're the only one upset by it, it doesn't matter." And I was like, damn, you got me there. Yeah. That was interesting. And then I talked to Emily about it afterwards, and she wasn't bothered particularly by the same thing I was, but she was bothered by a similar thing that happened like later. Because basically what happened was one of our friends had been gone for reading period, and like for like pretty much every meal for reading period, we, like, our whole friend group had been eating meals together. Like, not every single one, but like pretty much all of them. And then the friend that was gone got back Sunday night, and Emily and I, we eat dinner earlier than the rest of them normally, and so we'll like wait, and then we'll like ask, like, "Hey, what time are we getting dinner?" So I did that Sunday. Like, we waited. It was like past our usual dinner time. I I sent the text to the group chat. I was like, "Hey, when are we getting dinner?" And they said, "We're gonna eat leftovers that we have in the dorm." And I was like, "Oh." And it wasn't like an offer of like, "You can join us if you want," or like they didn't tell us they were gonna do that beforehand. Like, I don't, in my mind, there was the assumption that we were all gonna get dinner together because that's what we'd been doing the whole weekend. And my counselor kind of said that it was also because I was looking for that, like, stability of, like, I'm choosing to hang out with these people and they're also choosing to hang out with me, because I had just been, like, triggered by being, like, at home. So I was like, you know, that stability was something that was, like, in my mind as something that was going to happen. And then when it didn't happen, it felt, like, weird. And it, like, if they would have said, like, "Hey, we're not getting dinner at Commons tonight, we're eating leftovers, you can, like, join us," or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Or even, like, when I had asked if they had, like, put the offer out there, that's fine. But it was just, like, because Emily and I wait to have dinner with them when we have dinner with them most of the time. We eat dinner later than we normally eat dinner. So if I guess it just would have been nice to know beforehand, or at least to have the offer to eat with them, because, like, I don't know why they wouldn't want to eat with us, you know, because, like, we don't have to spend every second together and we don't have to spend every meal together, but Emily and I don't see them for, like, the first majority of the week because our schedules don't line up. So it was just kind of strange, and it's like, well, if you didn't want to eat with us, then why didn't you, like, I don't know, because it just made me feel weird. But Emily wasn't as bothered by that. But what um the other thing that happened was when Emily and I got back from dinner, because when they said that they were eating leftovers, Emily and I just went to dinner because we're like, oh, well, dinner time. When we got back, we were like singing a song back and forth. And when we walked by their room, one of them went, oi. So we like knocked on the door and like went and said hi. And then they were kind of acting confused about why we did that and like why we were there. And we're like, you called us. Which is funny because I didn't even almost notice that at first. Really. Because I guess because I was already kind of butthurt about the other thing. So I wasn't really paying attention. I don't know. Maybe we should probably talk about that. But yeah. And I know that they definitely didn't mean to like upset us or anything, but I don't know. It just felt weird. Yeah. I also need to get better about expressing my wants and needs, which I already knew, but in my mind, like wanting anything is like selfish and probably going to cause problems because if somebody doesn't want the same thing or like if my wanting something causes any kind of inconvenience for somebody else, then it's like rude of me to want something in my brain, even though I know that's not true. But like a small example of this was like brunch on Sunday. We were with our friends, and in our cafeteria, there's like there's a circle table in the corner, and then there's like square tables in front of the windows. And we were walking, and like someone led the group over to the circle table, and I said, "Why not the sun? Like, why no sun table?" Because there was one open, and they're not open very often, and so everybody kind of went, "Oh, well, I don't care. Like, we can do whatever." And then someone was just like, "Well, we should just decide because I'm hungry." And then they put their stuff down and like went to get food, and I was like, "Okay." So then we stayed at the circle table, and then I was looking at my co-star, which is like an astrology thing, and it told me to express your wants and needs, and I was like, and I also talked about this yesterday in my counseling appointment, because like expressing your wants and needs doesn't have to be aggressive. It can be like, I'm hearing 3 I don't cares and 1 preference, and like if you guys don't care and I have a preference, then I can just be like, oh well, let's go sit in the sun and start walking towards the sun table. And that it's like okay for me to have a preference, and it's okay for me to like assert that preference, especially if there's 3 I don't cares and I'm the only one with a preference, or like even if that preference might be mildly inconveniencing to other people. Yeah. Paramore's new album got released. There's not a single skip on that album. I love it so much. It's fantastic. That's the beginning of my wrap up, because my favorite song of the week is You First by Paramore. I think the song is so fucking cool. Like, the chorus, the chord progression uses so the song is in a minor key, and in minor keys, it's typically idiomatic in Western classical music to raise to make the 5 chord major, even though it would, like, technically in the key B minor, it's you normally like raise it to make it, you raise a note to make the 5 major. This chord progression uses minor 5, and then it goes to the 7 chord, which is major in minor modes. And then it goes to 3, which is also major. And the cool thing about the 7 to 3 in a minor key is that it sounds like 5 to 1 of the relative major. And it's one of my favorite things ever. It's one of the reasons I love the minor mode is like 7 to 3. I fucking love that. Like that whole thing. So like the fact that the chord progression is like minor 5, 7, 3, yes. Yes, everything about it. So, yeah. And the cool thing was, I was able to pick up the 7 to 3 before looking at the lead sheets. And then I double checked it with like some lead sheet symbols. Which was cool that I was able to pick that up. But yeah. Thank you for listening if you've made it this far. And have a good day.